Would your friends say that you are a good friend? Are you sure about your answer? Are you someone people can depend on? Someone that they trust? Do you sharpen others? Or do you make them dull? If you are a crappy friend or just want to be a better friend and grow a more meaningful relationship, stick around and find out how. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Canadian Crusade podcast, where we call and equip the young men of Canada to take a stand for the Christian faith, to act like men, and to be bold in the gospel of their salvation. I am your co-host, Jackson Scott, joined by the one and only
Michael Omelon, one and only by name alone. Very common in many other ways.
Not just name. I mean, I don't think I've met anybody like Michael Omelon here before in my life.
Oh, you're too kind, man. I'm very grateful for our friendship. Let it be known that you are a friend worth having.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I don't know if I meet every qualification, but I don't know. I don't try not to think of myself too highly. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that makes me just think of a quote, it's, not to think less of yourself, but to think of yourself less. I think what was that? Who was that again? The writer of Screw Tape Letters. Oh, I forget his name.
Lewis.
Yeah, C.H. Lewis. C.S. Lewis.
C.H. Yeah. Yo, you're thinking of Spurgeon now.
Thinking about Spurgeon as a man does as he goes through his days. Just not even about his preaching, just the guy. Great beard.
Great beard. Now, well, who would have had the best beard? I don't know. I think usually, I don't know what's the accurate picture of John Calvin. I think he had a pretty good beard.
Yeah, no, that was clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't think of anyone better.
Yeah, I mean, who has good beards at our church? Trying to think.
We're a pretty clean shaven.
That's true, eh?
Congregation.
Yeah, I think
for the most part. I mean, realistically, you're probably in the top 3.
That's terrible because my beard is terrible. That's actually hilarious. No, I think that Jordan has good potential if he were to actually try to grow it.
Just let it happen.
Yeah, but anyways, enough about that. You literally have no idea who these people are unless you are from our church.
Yeah, it's funny when they'll eventually, in God's providence, see this, like, talking about me.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, first thing are you a man worth having as a friend? Let's get into accountability over validation. Real friends don't agree on everything. You and I, as it's been clear, we do not agree on everything, and that's okay.
Yep, we have it on record.
Yeah, we can still be friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what do you think about that? Like, I mean, really, like, I think it is true. I think it is quite true. Like, I think of my friends, and yeah, we totally don't agree on everything, and I think it gives for good conversation. Sometimes it's controversial. Sometimes it's just simply disagreeing, but it adds meaning, I think, to the relationship. Like, I wouldn't want to be the same person as you, and I wouldn't want you to be the same person as me.
Yeah, fair enough. I just always just end up going back to 1 Corinthians 11. I believe it's an 11 or maybe 12.
Head coverings?
No, close. Maybe that's 12.
I'm sorry, bro.
But just actually no, I think that is 11. But yeah, so yeah, just the description of a body working together is a body made up of multiple different parts, right? And that's a body that is functioning.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And strengthen through one another. I do think, like, we can sort of define different denominations as being different parts of the body that serve different functions within the church as a whole. That just seems evidence
So,
based off of the kind of fruit that different churches seem to produce.
so the Pentecostals are the toes.
I would say the heart,
I
or maybe even the Lutherans. But yeah, just like when I
don't
think
know.
of just like passion and love for one another, and they really do outdo us, and I think outdo the church at large in terms of fellowship, right? For just that like that friendship love between one another, right?
Hmm.
There's a heart there. There's a passion there. There's zeal there, right? There's a heart. It's on fire. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is true.
Yeah. But of course, you don't have to agree on everything. But I do think you need to have like some basis to which to go off of.
Oh yeah, like you have to have those foundations in place that you
Yeah.
do absolutely agree on.
Yeah. I mean, like, how do you like make friends at first, right? It's oftentimes because of shared interests.
Yeah,
You make
that's
most of your
main
friends
reason.
through your job or your hobbies, right? That's how
Yeah,
you
bro, you
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 meet
swing a
people.
hammer?
I swing a hammer at least 3 times a day. Finish carpentry.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot like Swedish carpentry.
Swedish carpentry. Oh boy. Okay.
Anyway, you could say that my material is very dry. Oh, where did it come from?
Oh
Yeah,
man, I bet Joel's gonna love that.
yeah, that's for you. Yeah. So have just the simple fact of not agreeing on everything, so that you can actually be shaped and you can actually grow out of the discomfort of having somebody not like basically be an echo in your brain, right?
The echo chamber.
Yeah, exactly. It's very
Yep.
easy to live in an echo chamber, but there's no growth there. There's
Mm.
no growth there when somebody's not
Yeah.
being like, actually, I go about my life this way, and then they don't even need to tell you to change your life. You're just like, oh wait, there's another way.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another way of looking at things or doing it.
And the amazing thing about not agreeing on everything is that, um, like I'll just use the head coverings as an example. Like you and I, no, I'm like serious. Like we disagree,
Yep.
but the thing is that it will push us to actually search to the scriptures and trying to actually draw from the text what is the actual truth, what do we discern, and what do we find to be um what is the word, how do we, what's not discern, how do we interpret it,
Mm.
right? And there are different interpretations, but in that disagreement it might actually push you to actually be stronger in your belief, or to be stronger in it, or it could cause us to think and be like, oh, actually I might actually change my mind, I think that's right, or I think that's wrong,
Yeah.
you know.
It's the funny thing with debates is that they don't actually cause anybody to change their minds. All debates do is cause people to feel stronger in their own convictions, which can be a very useful thing when you have a conviction.
Unless they realize it's like a dumb opinion to hold, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there of course it's there are exceptions to the rule, but just generally speaking, right? It's a funny thing about debates where it's literally a competition where two people are trying to convince the other of their standpoint, but all it does is the opposite. It's in most cases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, you brought up the difference between, because like of course you brought up validation, um, but the difference between the kind of validation where it supports and the kind of validation where you just enable somebody.
Yeah.
And I go back to the same scripture I mentioned in our most previous episode, very powerful one, that faithful are the wounds of a friend, profuse are the kisses of an enemy. An enemy wants you to remain in that place, to stay in the lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That faithful are those words from a friend that wound you, right? Because they're truthful, and the truth will set you free, but at first it will make you very mad.
Yeah, and like that's why I literally said this in the last episode as well. Like peace if possible, but the truth at all costs.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about being in Christ, right? Because you know that it's like there's a wonderful reality of things being black and white. It's things as being either good or sin,
Yeah.
right? It's like to know that there is no room for lies allows for endless growth, right?
Hmm.
But of course, I always go back to always having that nuance of love in these discussions too, because I talk about it a lot. I know I have a beyond the people who say Lord willing to something they never do. My second biggest pet peeve are the people, the based Christians who are like, they
Peace.
think that it's, it's always loving just to tell the truth and just to be like, oh yeah, I just say it how it is. I'm so truthful. I'm godly. But in reality, it's just like, it's to speak the truth in love, to speak truth with the other fruits of gentleness and compassion,
Hmm.
care, right?
Wait, like, could you give an example of a base Christian?
Mm.
Because I just want to make it clear for our audience, with like, what do you like truly mean, like, as a who is a base Christian?
I mean,
Because I would consider myself a base Christian.
yeah, I use that phrase because it's these people that think they're based, but in reality they kind of suck.
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
like it's hard for me to say, but it's just like, mm, you know, I can think of only an example that I've had in my life where it's like, I've had people point out like my shortcomings as a human being just openly and in front of other people, you know? So it's like
Mm.
it's loving in the sense of helping me recognize where I'm going wrong, but also devoid in love and making me feel isolated in front of others in public, right? When we're
Yeah.
called to correct our brother in private,
Yeah.
right? That's an
Unless it's
example of the
a
based
public sin.
Christian.
Unless it's a public sin, there
Oh
is
no.
exception for that.
In this case, it was private.
Okay. Well,
It was
yeah.
a
Well, then that is
personal
wrong.
internal issue.
Yeah, that is that's disgusting.
Just embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
It is humiliating, right? It's just
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's
Okay.
why I personally am just like, yeah, like you can convince yourself that you're being a good, righteous person because you're that one who's not afraid to tell people things. But I mean,
How are you
it's
doing so?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because in my experience, these people, they're a bit cold hearted and you can tell that they enjoy correcting other
Oh
people.
yeah, like the people that'll say that, oh, my spiritual gift is correcting others.
Oh, I've never heard that one, but I really don't
rebuking
like
them.
that.
You know,
Yeah.
like my spiritual gift is rebuking others in their
Uh,
sin. It's like, what? Are
My
you
spiritual
serious?
gift is self-righteousness. I'm the most. My spiritual gift is righteousness. I'm the most righteous. In fact.
Yeah, that's like idiotic, dude.
Yeah. So that's what I mean because I think it was Michael Reeves described Christians as being two types of people. It's like you're either like the rhino who's just like tough and like barrel things down. You're strong, but you're not very loving. And then there's other Christians who are like deer who are gentle and careful, but they're also timid and easily frightened.
Well, I'll
Right.
say, I think on record, and as you guys can see us now, you look, and I don't say this in a bad way, you look like a rhino.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like a deer most often than not, to be honest. Because it balances out.
He is a deer in the body of a rhino.
It's all surface. Just clean the outside of that cup. No one's gonna know what's underneath.
Oh man.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the goal, of course, is to strike that balance in between.
Mhm.
Ultimately, that's why it's a narrow path. There's an in between the
Mhm.
two extremes.
Yes. And now, next point under this is why do honest conversations matter?
Why do honest conversations matter? I mean, at a baseline, it's just because we know that God is the truth. We know that anybody who is born of God will speak the truth,
Yes.
will not live in the darkness of lies.
Yeah.
So, and not to mention that, just like when you say honesty, my mind immediately goes to things like intimacy and vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
A temptation of men is to lie in the sense that we pretend that we're stronger than we really are, when in reality, in the inside, a lot of us are just kind of like nougat.
Yeah. We're just wee babies.
Yeah, exactly. We're just children in the faith.
Yeah.
I was literally born a couple of years ago.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, so I think it's important in the sense that you're honestly, it's just honesty is honoring to God ultimately, and secondly, because that's how you establish relationships,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You can lie to people, but it's just
You're getting
then
nowhere.
yeah, people are gonna be friends with your mask.
Yeah, or they'll realize you have a mask on and they will leave you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and that sucks.
yeah. Even if like I mean, there's a degree of safety, right? If you live in lie, if you live your life in a web of lies, right? It's like if somebody rejects you, well, they just rejected that fake thing, right? They never rejected you because you never were honest to expose yourself
Yeah.
to the nougaty interior.
Bro, it's actually funny you say web of lies. The last time I heard that, somebody was basically accusing me of certain lies. And and there was a point that I guess I did lie, but I did confess and I repented, but they could not give any other example other than the one that I already had repented of. And it's like, what are you talking about, dude?
You live in a web of lies.
It's like actually
It's-
delusional, bro.
it's
It was hilarious.
Kind of funny. It's a little like, not to make light of condemnation, which was clearly unjust, but I mean, when somebody lies once, like you are in a web of lies.
I was like, yo, okay.
Evidently, that other individual must have been hurt as a result of dishonesty. So that's another reason why honesty is so important.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hate lies.
yeah.
I hate
He
them.
hates him. God said he hated him twice. Jack says he hates him 3 times.
Oh no, I'm not even like I cannot be compared to God. Nah. Compare me to the worm instead.
It's just funny because it's actually the 3rd time it's come up since we started recording.
That's actually hilarious.
I'm just keeping track here.
Okay. You keep track in that sense anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I honest conversations, it just really builds the relationship, it just develops that actual trust between brothers, and you get to know each other better, and you literally just build an actual stronger relationship with the person that, Lord willing, because of those conversations that you have, your relationship, because you know each other, your relationship will actually last. It's not just going to wither away.
Yeah, we know that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, and you built on the rock of him by building on a foundation of truth.
Yeah,
And that's a house that's going to stand.
absolutely. Yeah, you need a solid foundation.
Yeah. We're carpenters.
Yes, exactly. We know about it. Oh man. Anyways, so second point is let's get into loyalty. Loyalty. And I really want to touch upon this one point, is that loyalty, you can be loyal to a certain extent, but loyalty should never cover a sin.
Yeah. I think I'm going to need you to expand upon that a bit more, because I have some thoughts in mind, but I'm not sure if I'm tracking it the way that you intend.
Okay. So like, how some sins are actually worth covering and passing over and like kind of dismissing in a sense, but I'm saying that loyalty, like for not covering a sin, that if my friend robs the bank and I was a witness and I am brought in to give a testimony of what I saw, I'm not going to say that my friend didn't rob the bank.
Right, because then who are you serving but God or man, right?
Exactly.
Right?
So
fear of God or fear of man driving you. So
absolutely.
I think I see where you're
So that's where I'm getting at with this point.
Yeah, the way that I was also seeing it too, just the way that it played out in my life while I was unsaved, was like I would, it's that legalism that's in everyone's heart, right? That I would do wrong, but then to the same people I would wrong, I would like go over and beyond to try to like make up for it in certain ways and prove my loyalty to them to like make up for it.
Interesting.
Right? To balance the scales, as though that's how this works.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that's just where my mind went with it. I understand where the where you were going with it, but that's just maybe my desire to confess in front of an audience of 21 listeners. It's just sprung up there.
Okay, yeah, yeah, but that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, ultimately, it's like you can't just. And I feel like there's a lot of ways that you can meditate upon that fact, right? That being loyal to another person, which is in theory good, could ultimately mean that your loyalties are away from God.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how far you've gone.
I think of it like even in terms of my workplace, we have to do this paperwork for safety.
Oh, those
And
stupid things.
yeah, the PSIs, and we need to sign them and initial them. And I just outright refuse to initial it for other people because to me it's
Okay.
like as much as I want to be a good worker and like do what you're telling me, it's like like I'm gonna feel a type of way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know? And I tried to at my workplace too, there's no parking.
Mhm.
So I've had to just accept the fact that I could A, be the best employee possible by getting better sleep and parking in a place where it'll ultimately be illegal within a short amount of time. That's
Yeah.
option A. Stewardship, I'm being a good employee. When people honor their employers, they're honoring God. And then the flip side is I'm breaking the world's law. So I'm still in one sin, so I'm therefore in all sin.
Yeah, it's funny. I've done that one though, like being parked over the amount of time that I'm supposed to be. Like, I'll just move my car or
You
rub
can't do that. Yes.
or I'll rub the chalk off my tires.
We're gonna have to have a talk about that once the cameras are off.
Oh man, it's actually hilarious. Hey, I won't name, but I've heard an elder tell me that they've done the same.
That's literally 3 people. Like, sorry, maybe 4, depending on how big your circle is. That oh no,
I'm not saying
I'm gonna-
specifically of our church. I'm just saying an elder of a church.
is where it goes further. It's like an elder of like an Aboriginal community. It's like it could be a lot of different people at this point.
Ugh,
I'd rather think that way
Government.
because
not the government.
because I don't want to think on it, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to.
Wingapo. Sorry, just made me think of the indigenous people.
Oh, I thought that was Spanish.
No,
I thought that was like.
that's from Pocahontas.
Oh, okay. And that's the extent of my First Nations understanding. Okay, so but loyalty doesn't cover sin. But what does loyalty in the man worth having as a friend look like?
Honesty, consistency, and there when needed. There when you are in trouble. Like you said in the last episode, like if your tire, you need to change your tire, you need another tire, or whatever it was. Like, is he gonna be there? Like, can you actually depend on that person?
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's like, I don't even think it runs that deep. For me, it's just simply, you know, my barometer for loyalty is just like if you said you would show up to something and you just didn't, or said you do, if they're it's just lacking integrity.
But would that be loyalty though, or is that just literally just lying?
I guess yes, yes to both.
Okay.
Yeah, just yeah. I guess yeah, I don't really know what else I could say in terms of that. I guess I just not to try to like open up myself a can of Pepsi here. But I guess that's the way that I would want to demonstrate loyalty to my friends, right? It's just like showing up.
Yeah.
Even when I genuinely don't want to. You know?
Yeah.
For me, I mean that's I just know it's like that's what in my own experience I really value. you
Okay.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, like if I were to ask you, like, can you help me out with this? And just being like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why wouldn't I? Like I go like helping other people helps me. It's actually entirely selfish.
Oh man.
Not because of aura farming or or karma or anything like that, just mentally, it's like the death thing. To just if you're having a hard time, it's such a blessing to have somebody ask you if you could help them with something.
Yeah, like
Gets you right out of your head.
and that's the thing. Like in talking about service and yeah, like if somebody asks you, sometimes you have to. As for myself, the tendency is not to ask for help because I can do it, you know? But sometimes it is actually a good thing to ask for help. And it's also a good thing to give an opportunity to that brother to actually serve,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, imagine how few times we give the brother the blessing to understand how much more blessed it is to be a servant rather than to be one whom is served,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I just know it very practically in the sense where it's like I think a lot of suffering is, and I say this a lot, is a result of self-centeredness, right? It's like you wouldn't be suffering if you didn't just stop thinking about how much you were suffering, right? And it's like it's kind of like a feedback loop where it's like the more you think about the pain, the more you think about yourself, which means the more you think about the pain, the more you think about yourself until you're just in yourself.
Mhm.
But the moment you're listening to somebody else share their unburden themselves, or you're going to pick up a friend who needed a drive because their car is in the shop or something like that, all of a sudden it's just like I just know my experience, it just takes that thorn right out of the brain. That thorn of just self-centeredness.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, on to the last point for loyalty. It's probably one of my favorite points is, the having the truth before comfort. Like I said, have there being peace if possible, but the truth at all costs. And the way that I look at that with loyalty is actually having a brother call you out when you've committed a sin, because it is a loving thing to do. And especially a lot of the time, I think people are just ignorant to the fact of what they might have done. Or sometimes, because of sinfulness, they've done it out of spite. And that is, why would you not call that out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we may have said peace, peace, but they're the ones who have made it so there is no peace. So all that's left now is truth.
Hmm.
I mean, when you were saying that peace if possible, I was just thinking of what Jesus had said is so far as it depends on you to be at peace with all people. I think that's I think that's Jesus directly,
I don't
if I
remember,
recall.
but either way, it's the word of God, so
Yeah,
it was
one
breathed out by him. So
yeah, one way or another Jesus said it, whether he inspired it or whether he said it himself in the time in which he was both God and man in the flesh.
yeah,
Um, one way or another, right? But so far as it depends on you and the individual. But if somebody sinned against you, well, the transgression has already been made. Like your side for keeping the peace. Your side of the street's clean. No, yeah, it's like that's like the hard thing, and it was one of the hard.
Ooh.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
No, like I actually like that, because then if you're calling it out, then you truly are keeping the peace, because a lot of the time when people sin against us, we can develop a resentment against them. So literally, you are taking away that temptation for you to sin against them as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful thing when you remove somebody's ability to sin against you or your ability to sin against them. Because
Yeah.
typically the latter is the one that you're actually in control of more often than not. Yeah,
Hmm.
just take away the option.
Yeah, but what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I honestly I lost my train of thought, so I'm glad that you took over because
Okay.
yeah, brick wall.
All right. Well, how about you start us on the next point then?
Yeah, yeah. So of course, if you're a man worth having as a friend, it's part of it is because you're encouraging, right?
Hmm.
You are somebody whom would be considered to be an exhorter. You lift people up. You see where people need to be strengthened, and you take the opportunity to share with them a word. what is, I can't even remember the scripture, but just like a good word in season is just, oh, I can't remember exactly. But basically, yeah, just to simply be somebody who wants to lift others up. I mean, yeah, I think in just a couple ways in scripture, right? I mean, namely, of course, to think others is more important than ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, and to when I think of just how, the Son of Man had to be lifted up, right? So we should try to lift other people up as well.
Mm.
That we should actually see them as better than us and worthy of like receiving honor for what they're doing,
Yeah,
even in the
absolutely.
small victories, right?
Yeah.
Because man,
And that actually makes me think. I saw the post on social media today that kind of has to do with this. It's like when you see somebody that is thriving or doing a good job or that is doing a good job raising a family, their kids are in order, you know, it's encouraging to actually because we usually have good thoughts about other people and it's encouraging to actually if you have that thought, why would you not share it? You should be sharing these positive thoughts that you have about the other people in Christ or just people in general. Like, it's a good thing. If you have a good thought about somebody, it is so worth telling them. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you say something that is encouraging if you think it? You know what I mean?
yeah, I wonder where that fear even comes from. Because I'm guilty of that too, right? It's
Yeah.
like I just think these things. I'm just like, oh, I don't have to say it.
Yeah.
They probably know how good they are at this. But sometimes I find it's easier to be encouraging when it's almost like you make it kind of fun. Like even like for like the smallest, I try to encourage my coworkers, right? When we're doing just like this tiniest thing, just to keep the positivity flowing. It's like literally picks up 2x4 and sets it down the right spot. I'm like, man, we're so good at this. No one's ever done that. Like, because it's like no matter what. I mean, I think
I think that's just being
even
positive.
even with just being fun with it too, you can still lift people up. But I think there's a lot more value when it's like it's not as saccharine as my way, right? Because it's a little bit fake
Mm.
in my way because it's not like it was anything worth honoring, really.
Like,
But
dude picked up a 2x4. Good
yeah,
job, buddy.
you did it, man. You did it, yeah. But it's still, I know in my own experience, even when it's just for fun, like it is an encouragement. But yeah, once again, it comes from actually knowing people, especially knowing what they go through, having those meaningful conversations over coffee, so you actually know what you can pray for them about,
Mm.
so that you can also like honor them when you see that God has answered the prayer being lifted out of something, giving them the
Yeah.
strength to overcome it, right? I mean, what could be more encouraging to everybody?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a good way of thinking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I just wonder, like, I just still, I have no answer for where it comes from other than maybe it's just the evil one just continually throwing darts in our brain, being like, sucks, sucks,
Yeah, I don't
all day
know.
long.
I don't know. It's probably just because, yeah, like you said, like, oh, I don't have to say it. I mean, it's a good thought to have, but I don't
No.
need to share it.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's almost a case of like self exaltation because you'll have a moment where you'll be like, "What a nice thought I just had. Good for you, Michael.
Yeah.
You should take the rest of the day off. You've earned it."
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Anywho,
interesting.
yeah. So once again, going into it, two similar but different things is that on one hand, well, first off, you want them to succeed. But in one case, you'll challenge them to succeed, literally like saying like, "I would want to see you do this. You know what? I'm going to challenge you to see you accomplish that goal within like a week. Then we'll talk about it, right? It's some accountability there.
Yeah.
But then if you have something shared, I mean, there could be competition as well. Not in the sense that it's like something that is like I think like if you feel like you'll feel really good if you win, maybe it might be good to take a step back. But I mean, healthy competition and being like, something where it's almost like you're on the same team still.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're
You
you're
wanting
sparring with them,
Yeah,
right?
like
They
like
won that day. That's
I
awesome.
want you
We
to
both got
succeed,
good though.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just while it's on my mind, I want to exhort slash encourage you guys to, if you have that good thought or something that you think would actually be encouraging to say to a person that you're thinking about, go ahead and say it. It's it'll mean so much to them. It's just do it. Go and do it.
Worst case Ontario, you make a rather hardened man feel slightly uncomfortable because he's not used to having positive, positive affirmation in his life. Best case Ontario, you make his day. We men, we don't receive
Ontario. Why Ontario?
scenario. Excuse me.
Oh.
So you never heard that? Okay, that's a new one.
No, I've never heard
Instead of
of
saying worst case scenario, worst case Ontario.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, yeah. I think that especially for young men, like we don't really receive positive, positive attention generally. So because of that lack, that one thing you said might just mean the world to that individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. In a world that's kind of like primed against the young man.
Yeah, and then it's like you don't know what their struggles may have been this past week, or so you saying that one thing to them, if you did think it, will mean a lot to them.
Literally nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
And so much aura to farm.
Oh boy. Doing it for the right reasons.
I mean, all our best works are but splendid vices, no?
Oh boy.
Not justifying doing things out of selfish intent, though.
Yeah, no. No.
But I would have rather a desire for positivity.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, like what do you like I just thought of this question going through this episode. Do people leave conversations with you feeling encouraged? Like how would you answer that? Do you think so or do you not?
It's a very good question. I like to think in my case, I think so,
Yeah.
I'm not very I'm not very good at like when it comes to like talking about my experiences, but I find it really easy when I talk to people who like to talk. Because then I can just sit there and I can have them tell me about what's going on in their life and then I can support them. And that can be it.
Yeah, no.
For me it's like, oh, successful social interaction.
Yeah. No, I agree. But and it's interesting though, like I almost find it hard sometimes to find those opportunities, I think, within the body. You know?
Oh,
Having that chance to even have like a good conversation where there would be that potential that they could leave feeling encouraged after speaking with you. You know?
oh, a temptation from the devil is to be the invincible Christian, right? Who you ask them how they are on every Sunday, and it's always blessed. But, like their life is chaos. So it's like you don't have to tell me that, man. You can tell me.
Yeah.
Like I can. The funny thing is, like when you go through things like I did, like it becomes really easy to see when somebody's putting on a front. Because I lived a life in a front for so many years. So it's like, I just like,
Oh, okay.
Or they're like, oh yeah, it's like, can't complain. And I just keep looking at them until they're just like, what? And they just like, the smile just starts to like shake a little bit.
Yeah, but it's interesting though, because people that say that, it's like, you can complain, but I would say you choose not to.
Yeah. You choose to hold on to your burdens by yourself rather than release them to Christ.
Yeah,
and
like
to me.
I would say that we shouldn't complain. I do agree with that. We should not be complainers, but I think that yes, you can complain. You know what I mean? Like when there's nothing to complain about. I mean, there probably is or something that is at least been a struggle in your life, or something that some sort of challenge or burden that you've experienced. I mean, really, we experience things like this every week.
Oh yeah.
The fact that we have to fight our sin, this ongoing battle every single day.
Yeah. It's like, what's it like to be a Christian? oh, well, I have this thing inside me that wants me dead all of the time, 24/7, constantly. So why wouldn't I take a chance and burden myself, you know?
Yeah.
My concern is it might reveal a certain disconnectedness with oneself, where perhaps genuinely they never slow down to actually examine how they're doing,
Mm.
right? And the concern I have with that is, well, if you never recognize what you're burdened by, what does that say about your relationship with God when it's a relationship that's based on intimacy, on casting your burden onto Him? You know, that's what He wants. He wants you to cry out to Him. And so that's why I think it's important to have the body where it's like, I'll come up to you, I'll be like, hey, how you doing? Oh, really? You're really that good?
But
Like then you can actually examine, like maybe actually, and then before you know it, like it hits you. But I think if you isolate yourself or work 8 days a week, 27 hours a day, like some people actually do, you can effectively outrun your internal struggle in a way that is almost virtuous, right?
but
To
I would like to say that in defense of the people that do say that they have nothing to complain about, or they're basically are usually saying, "Oh yeah, my week was pretty good. It was great."
yeah, like some people
Um,
just did, right?
yeah, but so what? But I would like to add is that some people have are more content than others.
Yeah.
I think that's just a fact.
Yeah.
So I think that's a valid point for them.
You know,
They might genuinely just be more content than you are.
I think I raised this a couple episodes ago, but it was something that I actually talked about with my therapist. It was the concept of toxic positivity, wherein, you know, you put forth this thing, right? And then you almost like believe the lie. Like I think there's a lot of people like you're describing who genuinely are content, and I can tell. I can tell that they are. But I can also tell when people aren't.
Yeah.
And I'm
Like
just
I'd
like,
say that I'm content, but I won't lie to you if I've struggled.
oh yeah, no, you've been very honest with me and upfront, and I'm grateful for that too. Like I love the opportunity to think about somebody who isn't Michael for a little bit. Because just like everybody else, my problem is myself, like the self-centeredness, this fixation and the self-exaltation,
Yeah.
pride. But yeah, I just think of a couple individuals in particular whom I routinely see where it's just like, yeah, they want to scream into a pillow, but they just
Mm.
won't let themselves, you know? And
Yeah.
I wonder like if it comes like we know that we've been given a power spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control or a sound mind. And we know that self-control is a fruit. And so
Yeah.
it's almost like I think especially men, we're afraid to lose control. Um, the funny thing about feelings is like we only have so much say
Yeah.
as to how they're going to be felt. We can either just like run away or distract ourselves perpetually. I know in my experience, I've tried running, Um, but the funny thing is about your feelings is that thing is like JD Tremblay. Your feelings, it's like you might be a marathon runner, but your feelings are a triathlete.
Hmm.
They are going to catch up to you.
Yeah. But then yeah, like the feelings do, but then there is a lot that like for example, a man should have control over his own emotions, right?
Yeah, not in order to make yourself dysfunctional,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, like not being over stoic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's once again, it's a ditch on both sides, right? Where it's like you can either be like over masculinized or over feminized. I guess you could say.
I'd rather be over masculinized, that's for sure.
Most men would, I think.
Yeah.
And the world would mostly likely have you the opposite direction.
Yeah, which is gay.
Um, but yeah, like once again, just with all things, it's in the middle somewhere, right? Because I think there's just like yeah.
Well,
I only speak from what I've seen. I only speak from my own personal experience, right?
yeah. But just so we got it clear, middle is like you're not saying that like men should be masculine and feminine. You're saying like
Men should have a beard and long hair. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. It's all about
No.
appearances. No.
Mm.
I'm just saying, like a
Like
man
they should
who's
be healthily masculine.
yeah, exactly. You're
Okay.
still in your mat. When I describe that, I describe not. That's not a very good. I guess that's not a very good spectrum to say, but I just say, I guess, on terms of only on the sense of emotionality,
Okay.
right? It's not like you're heartless on. I would say you're heartless on one end, and the other side you're just consumed by your emotions on the other. One is where you can actually feel what goes on internally, and live your life functionally as a man
Mhm.
in spite of that. And I think that the middle way is the only way that you're actually functional. Because the people on this side, like they're like honestly crazy. Like they're like the worst, like the worst character on this side and the worst character on this side, right?
Yeah.
Because you just have people that will treat everyone poorly because they outrun everything in their life.
Mm.
And then you have on this side where it's like they expect everybody to to bow
To
before their
console them as
feelings.
well, yeah.
Exactly. It's they're both kind of like black holes in their own way.
Mm.
Um, but we don't want to be that as men.
No.
Yeah, I just I can only say like Michael only has 5 cool sayings, and one of them is just once again what just C.S. Lewis had said, that the devil gives temptations in two extremes on two ends of a spectrum.
Hmm.
I said a very simple thing that he had said in more words than needed to be. Um, so yeah, I just it's always that middle ground. It's so weird. It's like, Christianity is so black and white in so many ways, and yet the solution is oftentimes a middle ground, oddly
Hmm. Well, I guess
balanced in a way. But like I don't like the term balance too much because it's associations with
yoga
other worldly
and other
religions.
things, yeah.
Where it's like, I think in God's common grace, he's allowed some people to gain a sense of peace within their life based off of some principles. But
Mhm.
I don't want to place emphasis or, promote concepts which are so foundational to things like Hinduism and Buddhism.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because no.
No, we are Christian men and we stand
Yeah.
for the Christian faith.
Yeah.
And we call people to act like men and to be bold in the gospel of their salvation.
Yes, absolutely.
Not the nonsense that is just paganism.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of funny. I tried like online dating for a while, and I would specifically filter out anyone who isn't Christian. I thought, okay, that's
Yeah.
got to be it, right? And then I would match with these girls, and I would just scroll down and it'd say typical Sunday. One thing that wasn't on there was church.
Going
And
out for hikes, mountain biking,
worse.
coffee.
Worse, it would be like, oh, yoga and shopping. So
Ugh.
it's like, first off, I go to worship Hindu deities, and then I go to worship
the
worldly
grocery store.
deities.
Yeah. Oh man, I hate the grocery shopping on Sundays. I hate it. I hate it. I just hate it. It's just like, oh man, to me it's interesting. I know that certain things are a matter of the heart when it comes to the Sabbath. But shopping for groceries on the Lord's Day, I understand if it's like once in a blue moon because things were so busy, you might have a large family, you just couldn't keep up, and that's understandable,
Work of necessity.
Yeah. But if that's your habit, oh man, I hate it.
Yeah, I remember I was doing the Practicing the Way course from John Mark
yeah.
Comer with some
Gomer.
brothers from a different church. And they were all from, a lot of them were from different churches, but definitely not Reformed. And they were just like openly talking about how like, oh, like some Christians won't even like, go to the store on a Sunday.
Oh,
and,
really?
And I'm just saying like, oh, that's crazy, whatever. And I just sat there. I was just like, the way that I've seen that, it's like, in my own personal interpretation is, it's like one is okay, but the other one is more honoring to God. It's like one more honors what has been set forth since creation. We don't have like, we can be literalist about it. Like, I don't have a maid servant. I don't have a bond servant, but in going to stores and and supporting those whom have their bond servants to work on the Lord's day, or even so working 7 days a week for that matter, you know, I am in a way supporting that which is contrary to what God has set forth. And
Yeah.
so therefore, yeah, I mean, sure, I guess it's fine, right? But on the other hand, it's like I still think the alternative, which is just to completely make it separate,
Mhm.
is better. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm going to say like, oh, in sin, I stick my nose down at you. Because honestly, there's been at certain times where it's like I can honestly say that. There's at times where it's like, oh, I really wish I could do things today.
Mhm.
I really wish I could, like get that food that I want on today. Yeah, but it's like it's not a necessity, and it's definitely not a mercy,
Mm.
especially not to my sides, because it's typically ice cream. Um, but equally so, it's just I've felt that where it's like it's kind of the same thing where it's like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to be able to like enjoy certain things that people that don't have my proclivities enjoy, right?
Yeah.
It's like people can just like go out, they can just like go to the bar, have a couple drinks with their friends, like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine for some, but for me, it is sin because that's,
Yeah.
that's for
Yeah.
me, it is wrong. Um, Even so, it's like there's still that being like, oh, sometimes it seems nice on that side too.
Maybe, but it's interesting though. Like, I find that a lot of Christians, obviously not within our Reformed circle, but or maybe to a certain extent, I don't really know. I can't actually speak for anybody, but I know that usually within the other denominations, I don't really think that the Sabbath is taken seriously at all. It's I'm gonna go worship the Lord, amazing. Uh, and I'm just gonna go live the Sabbath as any other day after worship.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable how much of a minority Reformed Christians really are. And I like that. I like being a minority. I like being a part of a small congregation with a few people, right? Because I don't necessarily believe that because a congregation is large, that's because God is blessing it, right? A congregation can be large just because they just put an arcade in. I'm speaking to a very specific church that I will not name, but it's big in here in Ottawa.
An
Literally,
arcade in the
they're putting an
church?
arcade in their church, and I had a brother who attends there talk to me about it so excitedly, and I'm sitting here being like,
Is it the
going,
Met?
I
Okay,
won't I won't say specifics, but
because
it's
there's
not
no
that
way
one.
it's not the Met.
No, no, it's a different one.
Okay.
There's a bigger church here. There's a
It's
church.
funny. I'm genuinely not really aware of really any other church except for the Reformed churches in,
Yeah,
in Ottawa.
I like my rock. I like being under it. Yeah, yeah, it's heartbreaking, but sometimes I sometimes wrestle with that. I'm like, I see genuine faith, I see genuine fruit from people that attend churches like this that are really large, and they like the style of worship, and they like they basically like everything that is secondary to the primary purpose of the church, which is of course the sacraments and worship
Mhm.
ultimately.
So I would just ask you, what do you like these people that aren't taking the Sabbath seriously? Like they're breaking one of the commandments. Like, do you think that they are breaking one of the commandments that only attend worship and then live the rest of the day like their everyday lives?
Do I believe that they're breaking a commandment? Well, absolutely. I mean, and in every sense that every time any one of us sins anyway, we've broken every single one of God's commandments because that's just how voracious sin is. There's no peccadillo. It's always 100% sin. Just like how God is always 100% good, sin
Yeah.
is always 100% bad,
Hmm.
right? And I can look upon that, right? And
Hmm.
then before I know it, I'm already in the sin of pride.
Yeah, but so then I would ask you, so then how, if we do have those friends or people that we know that don't honor the Sabbath as we believe it should be done, how do we engage them on that?
I mean, I would just want to share with them what the Sabbath day looks from a reform perspective. I
Okay.
wouldn't try to like suggest that they're wrong, but I would just kind of like what we discussed earlier, where it's like, it's not always about being like, oh, you're wrong. This is the right way. And sometimes just be, this is the way that I do it.
Or like kind of like being like, oh, have you ever thought of it this way?
It's like, some of us actually do it this way,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe, just hopefully, they'll feel a sense of conviction. It'll drive them to the scriptures and examine and just see just how important in iniquity, in antiquity, that being like with Israel, for example, where God explained his character, how important it was
Yeah.
that one day in 7 would be kept separate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, anyways, enough about Sabbatarianism.
Yeah. Reform bad, your Christianity bad. Reform good, your Christianity bad.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to the topic of positivity.
Yeah. By the way.
So yeah. Well, yeah. Like the one point is, are you constantly complaining or are you building, as in like building one another up? And I think that's a thing to actually be aware of, in yourself, because we're talking about, are you worthy, right? So are you a complainer, or are you actually genuinely trying to build yourself and build others at the same time? Yeah, and I'd like to just get into let's talk about what's the impact of being positive.
The impact of being positive is, well, first off, you get to see the fruit around you. You get to see, it's helpful too if like either you've had a history of just being very negative, or you are in circles of people that frequently feature negative people, because then you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference that just decidedly making your words positive, your demeanor positive, and the effect that it has on others is the main thing.
Yeah.
Secondly is just like the quality of everything that you do, because all that negativity does is just drain you of energy that you put towards it.
Yeah.
I think about how today I was skateboarding, right? And I had a bad day today. So I was frustrated going in and nothing was working. So I went into prayer, just praying, because it's like I'm in my own strength right here, and that's why I'm so negative. Lord, I just need your help that I can make this time good, that you could make it good, because the day is evil and I only have a little bit of time here, and I want to make this honoring to you, whether it means in success or whether it's just in determination in midst of failure.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, I had a pretty good skate session after that. It's like,
funny.
I remember, it's something that journeyman that I work under most has talked about, and another gentleman who I work with just keeps saying, like, you gotta love what you do. You gotta remind yourself that you love what you're doing. And if you don't love it, you gotta find a way to love it, or find someone else to love.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think the primary is the best thing, to just start with where you are. I think secondary should be, it's like schism. It should be the last option.
Yeah, unless it's literally a terrible place. Like I know of a brother that his workplace, and you know him as well. His workplace is literally, it's just not good. Literally affecting the man, like him.
Mm-hmm.
Not good at all. So literally comes to a point where you need to leave. Right? You have to actually recognize within yourself, is this affecting your mental health, and is this like so negative that your life has just kind of become meh, just nothing. You kind of find that there's really no value except for, and the only thing that you're thinking about is work, because that's what is just being imposed upon you at all times, receiving texts and everything from this one person about work. Like you're literally 24/7 is work. Should probably consider leaving.
Yeah, it's all consuming like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't love that.
Yeah, but for things that are, worthy of praise, sometimes you have to remind yourself that you love what you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to start from. And that's what I reminded myself. I was skateboarding. I was like, wait, this is my favorite thing to do, and I'm getting mad about it. I'm like, why am I taking myself so seriously? Like,
Sometimes it is mad not landing a trick though. Like
yeah,
you do get mad.
yeah, but it ultimately it's like that feedback loop of just like anger, worse performance, anger, worse performance started taking over, and then when reset with a bit of prayer, I mean, it was just like, oof, yeah, I was. I'll just say I was very happy with the results of today.
Or even just like sometimes praying that you'd reach the end goal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and sometimes we reach the end goal on our hands and knees. I mean, that's how each one of us is going to finish the race ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what I believe the impact of being positive is.
Yeah, there you go.
Another thing, just before we switch gears, I was once again thinking of something that the journeyman that I work under has aptly said. Also, thank you for your continued viewership, Pat. Is just like he kept saying, it's like, to be a leader, you have to be led first, right? In other words, I think there's something very biblical about that. I think to humble yourself first, that you might be exalted.
Mhm.
And ultimately, it's like, I think you should become the kind of leader that would see other people built up. And I think that's I think that's what really the goal should be. It's like your goal should be to become a shepherd, right? But at first you're going to be like, bah, and be led by others. Hopefully
Yeah,
the
well,
right ones.
I mean, yeah, you should be a servant to others,
Yeah.
right?
I had this notion when I was just becoming a Christian. I was working at Walmart, and I had this
Walmart.
notion that I had to like be humbled. So it was like, first you got to clean God's toilet before you can enter His kingdom.
Oh my
Even though
gosh.
that's not biblical.
That's interesting.
He would meet you with a ring, robe, and sandals wherever you're at. But that's just anyway.
Okay, moving on.
Caffeine. Am I right?
Be dependable. This is, I mean, it's funny. Like I think we kind of touched upon this on the last one, but it really holds true. And for example, literally just if you say that you're going to do something, actually follow through and do it. Like we've said before, I lose respect for you if you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it immediately.
It doesn't matter how big, for he can be trusted with a very small thing, can also be trusted with much.
Yeah. So
even
keeping
10
promises.
kingdoms.
Yeah, exactly. So keeping promises, right? Actually, let your yes be yes and your no be no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another point is just like we've talked about, show up when needed. If a brother's in need and you know that you can actually assist him or help him or just literally just be there for him, I would encourage you to do so.
Yeah. There's a very powerful principle known as the principle of just showing up.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised just like how much things work out when you just show up.
Yeah, exactly. And like when you do show up, like if a person's in need, they might be struggling themselves, and might be having a hard time. But then the fact that you show up is just such an encouragement to them. Like attitude changes like that,
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and of course, somebody you got to be trustworthy, as in I or other people can share private information with you. So you're not going to gossip about it, basically,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always find people that are like serial gossipers kind of interesting, because it's like they gossip to you, and I'm just like, all I'm thinking is like, the moment you talk to somebody else, you're gonna gossip about what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for letting me know about Gerald. I'm so glad to hear about how he just failed to pay his car loan, and now he's getting he is getting re-opt or whatever that is when it gets taken away.
Sorry, Gerald, that sucks, buddy.
Yeah, very specific.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think it's really a good thing. I think that really is a big part of what would actually make you worth having as a friend. Actually being a trustworthy man that you can be relied on and that can be trusted with serious information, private information that people need to bear one another's burdens and need to have that actual confession of sin with one another. So to be able to do that, for somebody to do that with somebody, you kind of have to be somebody that can be trusted. You know, if it is a private sin, then them being able to share that with you and you not going out and saying, "Oh, you know what Jimmy did?" No, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a couple things I guess to check in with oneself is, are a lot of my conversations about people that aren't in the room?
Mm, yeah.
You know,
It's a good thing to be aware of, for sure.
yeah. It's just a little check in again with too. It's like, does anybody actually share anything with me? Do I have close friend? Okay, I have close friend. Do they talk to me about things that are real? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a good self
Yeah,
examination.
no, that's actually great that
How
you
much
point
do
that out.
how much do I know about people, and how much of this, was it? How much do I know? What depth do I understand the closest people in my life? How much have they told me about themselves?
Yeah, like that's and I love this point because it's kind of hinting if you're not somebody that people actually really share things with, you're not trustworthy, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny, right? Because a lot of these like topics that we talk about, it's about like, it's like, oh, this person's like this, she's like that, etc., etc. But it's fun to do an episode on maybe it's like, it's like I wonder who the problem is, and then you just open up a mirror and
Yeah. Yeah.
so it was me.
Who is the suckiest of them all?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, the gospel is partially that we all suck. So at
Yeah.
least you're in good company.
Yeah.
But thankfully, by changing work of Christ in our hearts, we can become more like him. And indeed, one day be holy and blameless, even as he is holy and blameless.
Yeah, that'll
Through
be oh so glorious.
Oh yeah. Imagine to be no longer stained by sin.
That's wild. It's
I can't
honestly
even imagine. It's such an
yeah,
eternal
I
perspective,
was gonna
right?
say that too. Like
Well,
it's like how? It's like the fact that we are just so tainted and just so dirty. Like even our good works are seen as filthy rags.
yeah,
Menstrual cloths. I just always like to emphasize that. That's what it says.
graphic.
Pretty nasty. So like that's literally so nasty. So like literally our good works are disgusting to God. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the last section. What were you gonna say?
Sorry, it's just I don't want to meditate on that too much. It's just that descriptor, right? It's technically a productive process and yet made so wasteful. That is
Hmm.
the cloth in which you described.
You can say it.
I don't want to. I get deeply uncomfortable with that translation. That's why all you deniers out there, that's why we have translations. Because sometimes words are much easier to understand in one way.
No, well, I mean, really, it comes from like the Hebrew word. That's what
Yeah,
it's
it's
talking
very,
about.
very precise.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like out of fluid from that which could bring forth one of the most beautiful things in existence, that is human life,
Hmm.
right? One of the most honoring things to God, propagating, right? It was instead something that could have been so beautiful made wasteful. That's our best works, right? They're still just
Nasty.
nasty. Yeah.
Just garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not a very good. So about the next point.
Okay.
Segue.
Yeah. What do you think about this? The last one is talking about building brotherhood. So the point is, I think, and you actually raised this in the last episode, is friendships should not only be transactional.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider much of a friendship if there wasn't give and take. That or you're just simping.
Yeah, well, I
or
mean, that just kind of
taking.
happens naturally,
You
though,
know?
right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, can you lend me a cup of sugar?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's finding that fine line between what therapists would describe as being one on one side, rigid boundaries, and on the other side, porous boundaries, where it's like one is that you never give, the other side is that you only give,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
in some cases, even only take because you don't know how to.
Mm.
But
Just to take a.
yeah, but it's funny how these things can. There's like a spectrum between the two, and you kind of have to figure out where to be on the spectrum with various different people. Like you got to be rigid with the people that want to take more, and you got to be more porous with those for whom need the help. Because there will be
Yeah.
those people. They're not taking advantage,
Yeah.
right? But they genuinely need an additional bit of love. They need that extra 30 minutes on the phone. They need that ride home and that conversation with you. They need that extra word of encouragement, even if it feels like you're giving a lot of yourself.
They need that cup of sugar.
Yeah, they need the cup of sugar.
No.
Or be more biblical, honey.
Yes. Yeah.
Sugar is Satan's carbohydrate.
Oh, or the Canadian version, maple syrup.
Yeah, no,
That's good stuff.
yeah.
Yes, it's amazing.
Anyway, so yeah, it shouldn't all be transactional, but there needs to be an air of give and take there within, or else it's either you're just running a charity or you're just using somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a good sign, I think, that there's an equivalency there. And one thing that I've learned is, as somebody who never really had well-defined boundaries in my life, I know when a boundary has been crossed when I react to something that somebody has done in a negative way. It's like I don't know where my boundaries are until they're crossed, is what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
So when it comes to figuring out, because like every relationship is complicated, and it's all about just knowing that, right? Like I guess I can just only speak from my own experience that I've only been able to have healthy relationships by first letting people in my life cross my boundaries, recognizing it, and talking about it. And it's just this ongoing, uncomfortable process of talking to others. But it's all a result of being in a real relationship wherein there will be give and take.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that brings up the question too. It's like, are you taking? Are you just like taking from others, or seeing, what benefit they could have to you?
Or are you actually giving too much of yourself?
Yeah. Do you?
That is a danger as well.
Fear of man is a snare. You'll get bound up in all those yeses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't be a yes man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Know your boundaries.
I mean, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So the strongest friendships are based off of mutual respect, not usefulness.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
You raised an important point. In my own experience too, is that I've recognized when I've been in friendships with people that were based upon my usefulness to them. I recognized that.
Oh, you're a carpenter, eh?
No,
come here.
Honestly, just like in other ways. Not so much about the carpentry aspect, but just other aspects. Right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that as an example.
And it's easy to be that person where it's like you only feel comfortable in a relationship if you feel useful to the other person, and then that empties you of all your self-esteem, right? Because what if they don't need your use at some point? Now you're useless. What do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, just touching upon the last point too, about the yes man thing, it's funny because I was recently called that by a coworker of mine.
Okay.
Who everybody in we'll just say that I don't want to speak oh no, it's already happening. My coworkers listen to this, but
okay, yeah.
Yeah, we'll say at one point I had a coworker that people generally didn't like, and I remember him calling me like, "Oh, you're just like a yes man," and I just politely told him, I was just like, I just think it's a good thing to not increase the amount of stress that my coworkers are going through. Because generally, when I'm at work, I don't say no. I don't put up a fight to help people. I want to be a team player.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I mean, I get that, but I mean, yeah, like if Jimmy's asking you for help.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be
No,
like
I'm not gonna help you, Jimmy.
that.
I'm too busy for you,
That
bud.
work is beneath me.
Like what?
Don't you know who I am? But yeah, I just think like in the workplace, it can be a bit more. These relationships can be they can play it a little differently when there's that layer of you have a shared goal to work on. And I think that's why male friendships often come up from the workplace or just from doing things like working on cars. Having help me on this car, have a task or a goal we can do together.
Or yeah, like literally just doing manly things together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good consensus.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anywho, but yeah, based off of mutual respect, not usefulness, and I completely agree. Um, I've been on the receiving end of really appreciating somebody for their character, just to recognize that they saw me for what use I had to them,
Okay.
and when their whatever need they had were fulfilled. I mean, like, never heard from them again.
See ya.
Yeah. So it's interesting how it can be, it needs to be mutual, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because also you don't want people to take advantage of you.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's got to happen at least a couple times for you to know what to
Yeah,
look
it,
for.
it will happen. It probably will happen a couple times, and it is a good thing because then you will be able to recognize when something like that is going to happen or is happening. But yeah, so then since you've learned to recognize that for what it is, then you wouldn't be putting yourself in those situations, or you'll recognize when to put a stop to something.
Yeah, when you're talking about that, it makes me think of the words of the Apostle Paul again, where he says, in regards to disputes within the church, right? It's like going to the court is already a failure for you. Why not suffer wrong? Evidently, it's the better thing to at least be the person that was taken advantage of, because ultimately, I mean, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. I will repay.
Yeah, it is true.
Especially if that's a brother. That guy, he's you guys share a father. He's very apt at correction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, yeah. Just speaking to, because it's a real thing. It's like and oftentimes that's what drives people out of the church is being mistreated within the body. It's like, oh, if this is what Christians are, I want nothing to do with this. Or this person hurt me so much, I never want to come back to this place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, we are not free from sin, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going on a lot of different places right now.
That's fine. I'll touch. Their last point is build something that lasts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like a statue.
I don't know if those statues last.
It's a very specific example. Build us a good statue out of marble.
Oh my gosh.
That's the basis of a strong friendship.
Yeah, well, just like within the section of building brotherhood is to have a brother, you actually have to have a relationship that can stand the test of time. It's not something that is a surface level thing.
Yeah.
Right? You're building one another up, you're confessing your sins to each other, you're going out, doing manly things together, working on cars, working out, going for runs. There's a million examples. You can think of them. You're doing those kind of things together, and with that, you're also having those true conversations, those honest conversations with each other, and you're going to build something that, Lord willing, will actually last. That is going to last a lifetime. That's the hope.
Yeah. Like, if we even just meditate on that word brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what you pretty much just laid out what it really means to have a brother, right? It's one thing to have a friend.
That's true.
You can choose your friends, but your brother's with you.
Yeah.
You're stuck, in other words. So
Yeah.
you're going to work this out. You're going to figure this out. You're going to grow together.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just think there's so much beauty can be just drawn from singular words.
Yeah.
such as just simply that. I guess it could just be summed up as how do you build brotherhood? Well, by treating your brother like he's your brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that goes with that.
And yeah, I mean, and also finding, are you a man who is worthy to be a brother to another? Right?
Yeah, brother.
Brother. Yeah. Yeah. Any last thoughts, brother?
Only that I get really uncomfortable when people at the union refer to me as brother.
Hey, brother.
Brother.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion,
It's the brotherhood.
you can't be brothers unless you have a father. And I don't want to know who their father is. I don't want to say he's mine either.
Yeah. Well, anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end. But before we close, men, the best way to attract men of quality is to first become a man of quality yourself.
100%. I remember that was like a principle I learned through World of Warcraft. Was like, how do you make friends in World of Warcraft? Get good, because then people are gonna want to play with you.
I guess so, but
essentially it.
But in the real world,
yeah, get good in IRL.
Oh my gosh, yeah, in real life, absolutely.
Simple truth.
Yeah, where it counts, ladies and gentlemen. Be real, you know. Be that man that is worth having as a friend. And from hearing the points that we went through, really actually examine yourself. You know, I actually writing this episode out and like the previous one, you know, like it's actually amazing for me because I get that opportunity to actually think and ponder and like actually meditate upon these things, because really it actually takes me. I look to myself and I genuinely examine myself. Am I actually a person that people would want to actually have as a friend, right? A genuine friend, not that surface level garbage. A real friend, right? So,
how was the weather today?
Oh, it's great. Actually, it was kind of crap.
I thought the weather was also crap. Glad we're agreed. See you next Sunday.
Yeah, so don't do that, right? Yeah, but my encouragement to you is that if you're lacking in any one of these points, you know, after you've examined yourself, be at work to actually improve in that area of your life. And remember, I think, did we say this in the last episode? But I was just thinking, if you have an encouraging thought to tell your brother, tell him. Don't just have that thought and not share it. Share it with him. It definitely means a lot, especially to the young men, right?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, we'll catch you in the next one, and I hope that the Lord blesses you.
Amen. Till then.